chair, sir.
I have 7 o'clock, so I'll call the meeting to order. Will the Bill and Clerk call the roll?
Mayor Patricelli,
Present?
Councilman Porcello,
Present.
Councilwoman Dodd.
Present.
All right, well, I'll ask everybody to please stand. We'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Well, I'll first ask the clerk to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
Mayor, I will make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the September 17th meeting.
And I'll second that.
All right. Anything else? I'll call the roll.
Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilman Porcello,
In favor?
Councilwoman Dodd.
In favor.
All right. I'll ask for the first thing to start off with is reports of officers and committees.
Yes, I just wanted to bring the council up to speed on a couple of projects going on in the city. I learned today that the heating system for the church will be installed on the 26th of October with a completion date targeted for that next day on October 27th. So that will be the heating system done by Family Dams. As mentioned in prior meetings, we are completing cleaning up the pool house. We've scraped and painted the ceiling now. We're working our way through down to the wall systems, and soon we'll be on the floor. I was talking to the mayor about the contemplation of those storage rooms that were left to be behind plywood, and no one saw what was behind them. We're going to pull all that stuff out, frame them off, and put 2 doors there and shelving units, so we'll have interior storage, so we won't have things laying around in the off seasons. And hopefully, as we get moving towards this, we'll have everything tried to be wrapped up by the end of fall, but if not, early spring, so we will be primed and ready to go for opening of the pool as the time comes at summer. Next item, we had a great meeting today with the Guilderland supervisor and his team for the water systems. We also had the mayor and myself, as well as Jim Bisha, who's been on a consulting basis with us here for the city. What intended to happen is we were going there with the hope that we'd walk away with trying to form some type of partnership towards moving forward with the maintenance and cleanup and creating some type of a maintenance plan between the 2 entities, the 2 municipalities, and we're heading in that route. The town of Guilderland is taking the lead to give an outline as to a management plan, some of the needs, chemicals, treating, and those type of things. But the partnership, I feel, was formed at least today. We're going to continue to have meetings on a monthly basis, and as we roll into the spring, it'll be more frequent and go forward from there. So it's our hope, I know that it is the mayor's, because Guilderland is our client, that we give them what we're obligated for under the contract and go forward from that way. So we know that the contract with them is till 2028, and we want to continue to have a good partnership as we go towards that. So.
Does this have anything to do, is this going to affect anything with the recertification?
For record?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because you're sort of still involved with them, right?
Yeah. I don't think it has any bearing on it. I think most of the issues now rely between us and the feds on that. I don't think anything. I think this is just the tone of it today was basically, again, just to be able to say to them, we got to work closer together on making sure that this place, and what can we do? We definitely can't do it all ourselves, because the issues mostly that are affecting what I saw happening was the issues at the res doesn't really affect our water, it affects theirs, and and it's really in their design and how they designed it. So we can provide the water. It's just that they have more of a problem in taking care of it because of their design. The way our design is it's easy. It's easier.
Yeah, they're close in proximity to where they have to treat their water, so they see the impacts really quick. Where we have like a 17-mile pipeline by the time it gets to our plant, so some of that stuff drops out. Like the turbidity and all that kind of stuff with the sediment. But again, by the time a little difference, but they're right there.
So
I
they're
kinda-
looking for a better quality of water to start with, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. I think there was more of an issue of treating it with the copper sulfate and how and when, and then also, of course, with the problems we have with the water chestnuts and how and when, we do it. So, I think we need to develop a plan, but it's got to be a plan that we work together with. Because, again, their problems is that they can't take care of it as quick because of their closest. Ours comes 20 miles, it's in a tank, it sits in that well up there on 155, then it comes through our filters. They were saying, we could change our filters every, 2 days?
Yeah.
Every couple of days, they change theirs every few hours or 8
wow,
hours or something.
yeah.
So that's why, the difference. But I think I think they saw, hey, what can we do? How do we take care of this?
Good
So,
start.
I mean,
Great start.
I think I should have paid more closer attention to Prof. Moriali in the chemistry class, because it was almost like a chemistry class in itself today.
Yeah. Next item on my update list here is, I sent it to this council here, and as New York as well. We know that across the state of New York, Executive Order 203, where police reform has been one of the highlights as far as operationally what they're doing to look at bringing police more in line with the governor's initiatives. I sent you a memorandum which I broke down, Executive Order 203, to review, because my anticipation is for the next meeting, we'll be putting a resolution for the council to approve where we start the police reform committee. There's certainly in the executive order, there's details as to who he'd like to see sit on each municipal committee. So you'll have that before you. It's, I think, about 2.5 pages or 2 pages for you to review, so we can prep and be ready to start the committee on the 15th of October. We've already started the solicitation of interest to see from our community, because there will be involvement from the community as well to sit on that committee. So that'll begin to be October 15th for you to look at.
Have you had anybody reach out to you that
Yes.
says that, okay?
Yep,
You're on the
we've had a
committee.
few people reach out, and there's also criteria too, like a local district attorney from the ADA's office, and then there's a public defender. There are requirements to have on it. I think we're actually appointed an ADA to sit on ours, so I have to find out who that is.
Okay.
But then we're going to be looking at, various types of people in the community, business leaders, whatever it may be, religious. Whoever has an interest has to send some qualifications to us, a letter of interest as to why, and then we'll sort through that and put together that 12-member committee to move forward.
Can everybody hear Joe?
No.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Does that work a little better?
that works a lot better.
All right.
Sorry, Joe.
Is that,
Microphone is working, so.
You're cutting it out.
they're the stakeholder meetings first.
Yes, that's exactly.
In addition to the stakeholder meetings, there's a public forum that has to be held before that. And my understanding is that the police and the mayor and the council take input from the stakeholders and the public to create the package that'll be submitted to the governor, right?
That's correct. And we then have I think it's April 1, 2021, we have to submit to the Department of Budget, who's been tasked with accepting all the certifications that we've done our job. Next thing on my agenda here is City Hall. We've been going through developing an RFP and looking at an assessment of the needs of the City Hall for the heating system. And just recently, on the 23rd of September, we took in a heating study, which has 4 options, ranging from $80,000 to $850,000 for the repair of the heating system at City Hall. I've looked at a number of these options here, broke it down, and actually sent it to a company that I know, and they recommend option 4, which is a combination central variable refrigerant flow system, what they call a VRF, which allows you to have heating and cooling. That actually is only $450,000. But the good side of that is we're under now SAM's grants by Assemblyman McDonald for $125 and Senator Breslin for $135,000. So I'm asking if we can phase a project like this in, if we buy the bulk where we have funding to back it up, and then in out years, we would go after aggressively additional funding from SAMs or anything else to try to offset these costs. So the gentleman I know is analyzing the study. He's going to break it down for us, and then we'll see what the best path would be moving forward. But the system, the option, 4, that we both agree is probably the best for the city, again, is take away the individualized air conditioning units, and break that down to 6 internal condenser units on various floors, and we start to disperse the heat and air conditioning on a more level and better operating system. So that's that. And then lastly, I think we've all seen Facebook, and we know, driving through the various streets, we see the condition of some of our properties that we have within the city. Most recently, with the arrest of 2 gentlemen that had partaken in some of the events over in Troy. One of the things I'm looking at now is to work with the New York State Business Council, or the Business Building Codes Council, and work with strengthening our codes for getting down on property owners for negligence, not for taking care of the tenants they bring in or the properties that they have. Looking at whether it be a point system or number of violations, number of times that police are called fraudulently to homes, and start to really go after the property owners here to make sure that they're the ones of the quality that we want here in the city. So I know Bob Cordell, who I have a lot of faith in, he was the president of the NISBA Council. As soon as he gets back from Florida, where he's now, we're going to start looking at this on a more hard and a more impactful thing for the city of Watervliet. One of the positive sides of this thing is these codes that he talked about can be, the fines that can be levied are levied via administrative. So that would be, corporate counsel and myself can sit with property owners. It doesn't have to be in front of judicial. And we could actually levy these fines and have, as long as it's codified within the law, we could actually be the judge and jury and make sure that we go forward in the right way.
That certainly would speed up the process too, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
If it's just, but if it's administrative rather than judicial,
Correct.
it doesn't have to go on a calendar, so, okay. That sounds great.
I think that's great, but you still need bodies.
That we do.
You need bodies to go out and execute. It's a great plan. You need bodies to go out there and execute. Trained bodies.
Anything else?
That is it.
That's it? Good. All right.
Very good.
Thank you, Joe. I'll move into old business.
This old business fair, public hearing. A public hearing for the purpose of hearing those persons who wish to be heard regarding proposed local law number 2 of the year 2020. A local law to amend chapter 230 sewers of the Code of the City of Watervliet regarding establishing and imposing sewer rates for the periods of November 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2021, and May 1st, 2021 through October 31st, 2021.
Great, thank you. Well, then we're going to open up a public hearing, and anyone have anything that they wish to offer or discuss on this matter, please step forward, state your name, and any questions that you have or any comments you may have.
Amanda, yourself.
I just wanted to let everyone know, if you haven't been here at the past few meetings, the rates have not changed for either water or sewer. For sewer, it's going to continue to be $93.72 per unit for 6 months. And since we're not on water, I'll discuss that one in a minute. Thanks.
And local law number 2 of the year 2020 has been presented to the members of the council, and this is a public hearing with respect to that local law regarding the specific section of our code that deals with the payment of sewer rents that are required.
Are there any comments? If I hear none, then I'll close the public hearing. Thank you.
The next item, Mayor, is a public hearing. A public hearing for the purpose of hearing those persons who wish to be heard regarding proposed ordinance number 2033, an ordinance of the City of Watervliet, New York, amending Chapter 266, Water of the Code of the City of Watervliet, regarding establishing and imposing water rates for the periods of November 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2021, and May 1st, 2021 through October 31st, 2021.
Okay. Again, I'll open up the public hearing to hear any comments or questions regarding the water rates for this matter.
Again, as I just said, water rates are not changing. It's going to continue to be $200.48 per unit for 6 months.
Okay. Are there any comments or questions? Okay. Hearing none, I'll have close the public hearing. Thank you. Then we'll move into new business.
The first item for new business is local law number 2 of the year 2020, a local law to amend Chapter 230 sewers of the Code of the City of Watervliet regarding establishing and imposing sewer rates for the periods of November 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2021, and May 1st, 2021 through October 31st, 2021.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to move on local law number 2.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Any other comments from, are there any questions here? No?
No questions.
Okay. Then I'll ask, call the roll, please.
Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilman Torrensella,
In favor?
Councilwoman Donovan.
In favor?
Mayor, the next item is ordinance number 2033, an ordinance of the City of Watervliet, New York, amending Chapter 266 Water of the Code of the City of Watervliet regarding establishing and imposing water rates for the periods of November 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2021, and May 1st, 2021 through October 31st, 2021.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on ordinance number 2033.
And I'll second that.
Are there any questions or comments?
Yeah, why is one a local law and one's an ordinance?
It's a good question. So under Article 14F of the General Municipal Law, it deals with specifically sewers, and it says that for municipalities to establish either by local law or resolution, and in towns, I believe it says by ordinance. So there's a difference between the sewers and the water.
Thank you. Learned something.
Maybe on some kind of Jeopardy show.
Yeah, I know. That's the only thing it's useful for.
All right. If there are no other questions, I ask you to call the roll.
Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilman Torrensella,
In favor?
Councilwoman Donovan.
In favor?
Mayor, the next item is ordinance number 2034. This is an ordinance of the City of Watervliet, New York, providing that the Code of the City of Watervliet, Chapter 260, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 4, Handicap Parking, Section 26030C, sign locations be amended.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion that we move on ordinance number 2034.
I will second that.
Okay. On the question?
Yes, so per the request of Lieutenant Brian Strock, Acting Chief of Police, he's requested that the code be amended to authorize handicap parking signs to be erected in the front of the residence located at 706 2nd Street in the City of Watervliet, which sign shall prohibit the parking or standing at any time of any vehicle which does not properly display a handicap parking permit. So this is an ordinance that amends the specific section of the Code of Watervliet to add the location of 706 2nd Street for that particular purpose.
Thank you. Okay.
This is what we normally do, right? When someone is looking for a handicap spot, they contact the chief, the police chief, and so forth, and, okay.
Yes. They do like
An assessment.
they do an assessment?
Basically, there's a guideline and a checklist that they go by that say whether or not it's a handicap permit, no parking, or just access parking, or nothing at all.
Okay, good.
Okay. No other questions? I ask to call the roll.
Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilman
In
Torrensella,
favor?
Councilwoman Donovan.
In favor?
Mayor, the next item is ordinance number 2035. This is an ordinance of the City of Watervliet, New York, providing that Chapter 168, Garbage, Waste, Littering, and Recycling of the Code of the City of Watervliet be amended.
Mayor, I will make a motion that we move on ordinance number 2035.
I'll second that.
Okay. On the question,
So, Mayor, this is an ordinance, and the purpose of this ordinance is to amend Section 168-2-4 of the Code of the City of Watervliet with respect to bulk items.
okay, you want
Do
to
we want to do the Honorable Dawson? Talk to
that?
Chris, you want to explain?
You want me to get up and explain?
Yes, please.
Right up here?
That'd be great.
All right. What we're going to do is, for bulk drop-off this year, I use the word bulk drop-off. In the past, we went around and picked up the bulk, and this last bulk was, we picked up over 300 ton of bulk stuff. So we're amending that. What we're going to do is 3 days in the end of October, October 26th, which is a Monday, October 27th, which is a Tuesday, and October 29th, which is a Thursday. We'll be opening up Hudson Shore Park for those 3 days. A resident between the hours of 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. can bring their bulk items down for us for disposal. You must show proof of residency, and the resident must be in the vehicle at the time when they bring their bulk items down, and we will look at it. For all those who cannot make it those 3 days or are unable to bring their bulk items down for any reason, we will be moving forward with the pickups. Like we had in the past, we just had it for seniors. It'll be for everyone. It'll be $25. You need to contact the city clerk's office. They will set up the schedule for the month. And when you contact the clerk's office, you pay your, I'm sorry, my back to this. You pay the $25, then you can have that bulk picked up at your residence. He'll go over the rules and regulations then. Basically, it seems like we've done in the past with pickups. Once the $25 is paid, then they will put you on the schedule to be picked up. We will not be going around this fall picking stuff up from curbside. That's why we're amending the law, so you can bring it down to Hudson Shore Park in them 3 days. You can only go down, a resident can only go down once those 3 days. So you need to pick what day you would like to come down between the hours of 6 and 2, and we will dispose of those items.
Do you have to make an appointment to go down to drop your things off?
No, you don't have to make an appointment. It's first come, first served.
Is it going to be an amount that you guys can pick up from the house?
Yes, I'm sorry. So what it's going to be is we're sticking with the old rules. It's still a 4x4x8. Same with down at Hudson Shores Park. You can bring what you can fit in your car or pickup truck, but it's 4x4x8. And we still are also following the rules of certain items we don't take, like electronics. We always have a special day with that, or tires, TVs, stuff like that. So we think. Go ahead. What?
Like if you have a two-family, does the
Yeah.
landlord have to bring it for both?
No, it's just like we did bulk week. Each resident, each dwelling gets one option. We're also going to have a list on there of every resident, so when they come in, they'll be checked off for those 3 days. So that building or that dwelling has one shot, then 3 days to come down.
What if you had a senior and you wanted this neighbor to break it down? Would you come
So-
forward and hand their ID or something?
So what would happen is, if you want to help out somebody, you can bring that resident with you and bring their stuff down to help them. The driver can come in more than once if he's going to take 3 people on his block, but that resident has to be in a vehicle. This way it'll alleviate somebody saying, well, I'm taking care of this one, I'm helping this one, I'm helping that one.
Chris,
Yeah.
the pickup is just that week as well? Like that's...
No, the pickups would be scheduled through the city clerk's office. That's a monthly thing. That's going to keep going monthly, so you contact the clerk's office, that $25 will be a monthly thing going out.
So you actually do not have to wait, you know, I mean, if you have something in December or January, that it's just going to be the same as we were doing now.
And also that week, when we're doing the 26th, 27th, 29th, we're still having our crews out doing our regular garbage recycling picked up in the city. So we'll have 2 crews working both places. So the park will be shut down for the entire week. We contacted the police department, so there'll be no DOT stops in there and anybody using the park that week, because we'll be locking it up so nobody can come in or out for the whole week.
Are we going to separate maybe so we can sell some scrap and stuff?
Well, yeah, there's some, I don't want to get into all that, but there's a plan of where garbage is going to go, where scrap's going to go, and things like that. We have a whole plan laid out, how we're going to have people come in and out of the park and stuff like that. Just proof of all the resident needs to do is make it simple. Bring their ID down with them, come in the gate and bring their items, and we'll get rid of it for them. Mr. White, okay?
You said the 26th, 27th, and 29th?
Yes, it's a Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
This month,
Yeah, this month, October.
how are you going to notify the residents of this new procedure?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to first put it on our website, starting off. It'll be on Facebook, and we'll put it out the best we can with posting. Once after this meeting, the 32 phone calls I get every single day, emails, we're going to let people know. It'll get around the city pretty good. The ones that won't get it, obviously, I'm sure we're going to miss some, but it's the end of the month, so residents are also urged, don't be afraid to give us a call and find out what's going on in the community. We'll give them those answers.
Okay.
Okay,
Joe, all set?
all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jordan? No, you keep that. It took you 2 months to do it.
I don't think so. I think an hour.
I take that, all right, 3 days is good.
Again, it was always our intentions, you know, I know that if you listen to Facebook, you'll see it all the time, you know, they eliminated this, they eliminated that. It's all, we call it the fake news again. We never had intentions of eliminating it, and I had no intentions of trying to eliminate it. All I do know is that, you know, we had, with the times that we're into right now, we have to make some adjustments and some changes. And this is what we're going to try and do now to see how we can go and work out, you know, for the best interest of the residents. So still to be able to provide that. Okay, any questions?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I do have another question. I understand you're going to do it at the end of this month. This is it. So it's next year.
I'll give you my answer right now.
I know you're not going to be here.
I'm going to retire in 2 months, so you give me a call 2 months and 13 days, and I'll stand with the next meeting, I'll let you know. The plan right now,
Well, if it's going to be changed, the ordinance is going to be changed.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's going to be the same next year.
It'll be only in October again next year.
no,
Dates are to be determined.
So here, you know, it's going to be, Mayor, with your permission.
Yeah, go ahead.
think
It's a difficult thing.
It may be appropriate for me to just read it. Is that okay? I mean, let me just read it, and then we'll go from there. So, bulk items in the city of Watervliet shall be defined as waste that requires special handling, including but not limited to couches, chairs, mattresses, tables, appliances, lumber, carpets, and padding. Residents of the city of Watervliet will be allowed to bring their bulk items to a designated location to be selected by the general manager at no cost once per year. The date for the bulk items drop-off shall also be selected by the general manager. Residents shall be required to show proof of residency at the designated bulk items drop-off location. Residents of the city of Watervliet shall also be allowed to place bulk items for curbside collection by the city of Watervliet. For curbside collection of bulk items, residents must schedule a date for curbside collection to be determined by the general manager at the city clerk's office, show proof of residency, and pay a fee of $25. Bulk items shall be placed on the curb in front of the property or alley level in a readily accessible place at 7 p.m. the night before the scheduled pickup. Bulk items that would fit into an area of 4 feet wide by 8 feet long will be allowed for pickup. Items that fill up more than the above described dimensions will not be picked up.
Thank you.
That says once a year. So we're not going to have a spring and fall next year?
No,
So it's going to be just once
yeah, but the pickup at the home
all year.
is, it's scheduled as you were now as a senior pickup, correct?
We're not defining a senior pickup.
That's correct,
Yeah,
but as a
that's what it's
senior,
gonna
when
be.
the seniors were asking to be picked up, before if you were not a senior, you had to bring it to the garage. Now, that has nothing to do with it as far as seniors or not seniors. You could schedule something with the city clerk to be picked up, and it could be at any time during the year.
Correct.
Okay, the once a year is what we're talking about is Hudson Shores,
The free one.
the free one. So if you wanted to bring it, wait to that. But if you needed something picked up in the meantime, you would have to schedule it, which is probably a better system. With the seniors already had that privilege, or let's say that ability. Now the rest of the city has it without being a senior. Okay?
Thanks, George. That was good.
Okay. So let's see how many times that gets confused and, and misstated. But that's the intent. But thank you everybody for flushing this out and working on it.
Well,
No problem. Thank you, Chris. All right. If there's no other questions, I'll ask for a roll call.
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor?
Councilman Torrance?
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond?
Favor?
Your Honor, the last item on this evening's agenda is resolution number 9778. The Council of the City of Watervliet hereby accepts the proposal from and awards the contract to Alta Planning and Design Incorporated with an address of 1801 6th Avenue, Suite 204, Troy, New York, 12180, in the amount of $170,000 for consulting services to the City of Watervliet for a feasibility study in connection with the Watervliet-Troy Congress Street Bridge Zone Waterfront Access and Connectivity Study between the City of Watervliet and City of Troy, and authorizes and directs Mayor Charles B. Patricelli to execute a contract between the City of Watervliet and Alta Planning and Design Incorporated.
So this project here,
You want to have a motion?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I fell asleep there. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we move on resolution number 9778.
I will second that.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, so this project here is a cooperative study that we're doing with the City of Troy. You remember we passed a resolution to go out to solicitation where we had 3 selections from, or submissions to select from. This was Alta, Weston and Sampson, and Creighton Manning. The team that was selected here was Alta, of course, and they've got a great team that they assembled. It's EDR, which is a good planning company, Floyd Albert, which has a lot to do with infrastructure and traffic, and then Chazen themselves. But more importantly here, there's a member of this committee that's done a number of work that I've been personally involved in, that is an expert in traffic mitigation, has a great transportation background, and part of this plan here that we have before us is to look at the partnership that comes with traffic coming over the Troy Congress Street Bridge, coming into Watervliet, how we can tighten up the radiuses that we see there on coming into Watervliet, as well as going through and up to the 5th Avenue area, where we're looking to consider relocating the traffic light from 6th Avenue to a more functional light on 5th Avenue, because it's no longer functioning because of the church up there. We're looking at 5th Avenue because of queuing that's happening north and south, and also east and west, and try to alleviate that clog that's right there, based on the use now that's there at the St. Patrick, or former St. Patrick, which is now a Price Chopper. And then we're going to expand that to the north and south, going all the way out towards the pool area and all the way out to Hudson Shores Park. So we're looking at doing a lot of traffic analysis within that corridor, which also will help change the look over in the Troy area as well.
Is Chazen involved with this?
Chazen is. From a traffic perspective, not from the planning perspective. Alta is probably one of the better planner organizations too. I think they assembled a fantastic team here for us at a very, very good price too.
Is there a start date for the study, and do we know how long?
Yeah, well, it's a
the
compressed,
study-
I'm sorry, yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry, it's a compressed schedule, which I know the timeline just got adjusted today, but it's going from October 12th through February 15th.
Okay.
It's a 90-day compressed schedule that they're going to have. They're very confident that they can meet the guidelines based on the team that they assembled, and based on the fact that they know the area more, because they each had a part or a component going on within the city of Troy and within the city of Watervliet. So a lot of the stuff that other ones may have to dive into and get going, they already have some of that information detailed, and then go forward from there.
What's our share, Joe?
It's 15,000.
15,000.
I'm sorry, it's 10,000. It's 10 from each Troy and Watervliet.
And the rest is covered by?
The grant,
Grant?
yes,
Right, the grant.
170,000.
Yeah. My point is with Chazen is that, but Chazen's involved in the downtown, DRI,
yes.
the downtown redevelopment.
Yes.
I think it's important for the people who are doing the traffic study to also be in connection and contact and aware of everything that's going on with the downtown redevelopment initiative, so that we're not, that one hand knows what the other is doing, and there's not competing interests, that they're combined interests. I think that's important. Very good.
Did I understand there's grant money involved in this?
Yes, out of that, the amount of money that we were talking, I just asked that question. Our share is going to be 10,000, Troy's share is 10, the rest is paid for by the grant. Okay? Okay, if there are no other questions, I'll ask for a roll call.
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor?
Councilman Torzel?
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Mayor, that concludes the legislative items on this evening's agenda.
Okay. No other items on the agenda. I'll ask for, are there any appropriations and accounting?
Just a couple of things. We are almost through moving our current employees and retirees, the deferred comp plan from nationwide to New York State deferred comp. I believe our actual cutoff is October 15th, and everything will be with the New York State deferred comp plan at that point. And we are moving forward with our new computer system, and we are on track for having the November utility billing through the new system. That's all I have right now.
Peter, you can add that if you want.
Good. Okay, thank you. All right, now we'll move into a public comment period, and ask the clerk to provide the rules.
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, the council has authorized a public comment period. If you wish to address the council, please come up to the podium, state your name and address. You'll have 2 minutes to address the council. If they wish to respond or answer your questions, they certainly can, or they can get back to you on a later date with respect to your comments or questions. Does anybody wish to be heard?
Kathy Judd, 1628 8th Avenue. We used to have representation here from the police department and fire department. I'd really like to see them back at the council meetings. I'm concerned about the safety of Watervliet, and I'd like updates on that, at least on a monthly basis. You hear it out in the street, there's a SWAT team going here, there's a SWAT team going there. It's very disconcerting.
Thanks, Scott.
All new man, 1500 12th Avenue, Watervliet. I'd like to mention a couple things. Mayor Patricelli and I met with 2 people from National Grid, 2 representatives. The mayor addressed roadways with them, crosswalks. I was concerned about the boulevards and staging. The 2 representatives were in favor of the staging area. We can either forget about it or go forth with it. I hope the council and the city would consider a staging area, being that they were in favor of it. Second, I'd like to go on a personal situation. I have a parcel of land that I'd like to divide. I met with the general manager, Joe LaSavita, who was very helpful. He took the time to come on site, discuss it with me. I'd like to thank Joe for doing that. Thank you, Joe. The situation on 19th Street where the road was blacktop. I understand there's more problems than just the excavation and fulfillment of the blacktop. It seems as though the road was heaved on both the north side and the south side. So I don't know what is going to be done about it. I know it's a big adventure. I don't know if the responsible for it is going to address that or not. And Last but not least, I'd like to know what the situation is with Chazen. They were mentioned, how they're coming with the rehabilitation of 19th Street, 2nd Avenue and whatnot. Is there anything brought forth in regard to that?
Well, Mr. Yvonne, they did, during the course of COVID, they did a presentation via a live feed with the council at that time frame. We've been sitting and waiting for the notice of funding to come out from the state of New York to actually apply. We have not heard that as of yet. If this council, now that we're back to open meetings, if we think we want to bring them back to give a 15-minute presentation, we can certainly arrange that at some point. Because we might have been limited as to residential, people that could have.
Sure. Yeah.
So we can think about that.
I really like that.
Okay, why don't we try to do that? I'll try to see if they can fit us in to give a presentation here about the downtown revitalization initiative.
That'd be great. My concern is, are they dragging their feet or is anything constructive being done?
No, I think they've done, would I've liked to have seen a few more items in there? Yeah, maybe possibly. We could have done things a few different ways. One of the things that wasn't included was the traffic light. That's why we threw it into the bridge study that's coming now. The whole idea of the best traffic movements within the downtown, what are we going to do? So that's why we put it in there. But I think the other side of it is what's going to come out of that legislatively as to laws. What is our downtown going to look like? What are some of the things that we'd like to see done? And I really haven't seen that yet come out of that as to those type of ideas. But I think if we can, again, send it in front of the public, we might get a few more things to go forward with too.
That would be great if they could make a presentation. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, well, thank you. If there are no further comments, I'll close the public comment period. And we have no other business in front of the council? You? Anybody?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor?
Councilman Forncelli?
In favor.
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor.
Thank you, everybody. The next meeting will be October 15th.
Is it mostly about them, or